Welcome my friend, welcome to my YouTube channel. How are you doing? Do you know what today is? It's a great day to meditate, my friend. It truly is. It's also a great day to learn about some of the experiences you might have when you start meditating. And in this video, I'm going to discuss 4 of them. 4 of the experiences. So yes, welcome. Hi, my name is Roland and I am on YouTube living out my passion, which is helping you remember who and why you are through meditating. And that's basically it, right? And I don't want to waste any of your time because I know you're busy, so I'm going to get right to the 4 experiences you are likely to have while you start meditating. 2 of them for sure you're going to have, and the other 2 are going to come the more you do the practice. But you can start to discern whether meditating is helping you. The first thing when you sit after you've taken your 2 to 3 deep proper breaths and you're observing your body's ability to breathe is this. You start to play the hot potato thought game, right? The hot potato thought game. So essentially, what is the hot potato thought game? That is the experience of focusing on your breath and then thinking about whatever thought comes into your mind, or latching onto the thoughts that come into your mind. And it looks something like this. You're going to sit, and maybe for 2-3 seconds you're observing your body's ability to passively breathe, and then a thought pops in your mind about some chore you have to do, or some cousin you need to call, or dishes that you need to do, or a question that just random stuff. That is perfectly normal. When that happens, there are 2 things that you can do, or there are 2 things that will happen. You can latch onto the thought and then go back and forth with it and start to go down this rabbit hole of creative thought forming on top of the thought that you have. And it'll be something like, oh, okay, I'm focusing on my breath, and then the idea comes, I need to call my mom. And then you say, but I don't want to call her because I have not called her in a long time, and if I call her now, she's going to ask me about this, and I don't want to say this. And when you keep doing that, that is perfectly fine. What you need to realize is at some point you have to stop and say, but wait, right now I am supposed to be meditating. I am supposed to be focusing on my breath. And that awareness that you aren't focusing on your breath is amazing. Don't take that lightly at all. When you become aware of the fact that you aren't focusing on your breath, you are waking up to who you are, right? You're being more in touch with that which isn't identifying with the thoughts that are abundantly available. And you go back to your breath. And when you go back to your breath, because it's a hot potato thought game, you're going to go back to your breath for maybe 2 to 3 seconds, and then another thought will come, and you're going to latch onto it. And you're going to go back again. And it'll just be back and forth like that. But what will happen is there are times when you're going to spend maybe more than 2 to 3 seconds just focusing on your breath. And when you do that, it might feel odd. Why am I not thinking? And the longer you spend in that space of being aware and not really latching onto any thoughts, the more you're spending time with your truest self, with your higher self, with your soul, with your the creator, essentially. Whatever you call what you believe created everything, right? And that's the first thing that happens is you play the hot potato thought game. And it happens to everybody, even to me. The goal is to spend more time not latching onto the thoughts, is being aware of the thoughts as they come and then watching them just go. If you don't latch onto it, it'll just go. And you can always remind yourself, right, by saying, I am supposed to be focusing on my breath when you see yourself going down the thought creative rabbit hole, right? Okay, that's the first thing. The second thing that happens, and there could be so many ways these manifest, I call them kriyas. Kriyas are amazing. And the best way to understand kriyas, or the best way I can explain kriyas, is this. Kriyas are the physical manifestation of energetic frequency transformation. Sounds like a mouthful, and I'll explain it again this way. Everything that exists is energy that's vibrating. And every day you're basically interacting with all these other frequencies. And everything that exists is vibrating at a unique frequency. And so when you are interacting with these other frequencies, you're exchanging information. And that information you then incorporate into your body, but then it might not be vibrating at the way your body's natural state vibrates, right? And so it has to transform it. Think hot water and cold water. If you put them together, there's going to be a change, right? The hot water is vibrating differently from the cold water. You put them together, you're going to get warm water. That warm water is the new manifestation of two different frequencies of vibration coming together. And when that happens, there's a change that occurs. And that change that occurs in your body when you meditate and become more and more in touch with your higher self, your soul, whatever label you want to attach to it, it doesn't matter, it's the same thing. As you embody that higher self, it comes in and then it starts to clean out or raise your current frequency of vibration to a higher, lighter frequency of vibration, because your body's dense. That might sound like a mouthful, but trust me, that's what happens. And the Kriyas manifest when that change occurs physically in so many different ways. You could yawn, you could burp, you could fart, which are all gaseous releases. You could move your body in a certain way. You could laugh, you could cry, you could tear up, you could flex different parts of your bodies, you could yawn, you could speak in tongues. There are so many ways Kriyas manifest, and I'll create another video explaining that. But here for a quick demonstration, I'll show you an example of a Kriya, okay? I'm going to sit here and try to meditate just for maybe less than a minute, and you'll see, just pay attention to what happens when I start to get into a deep meditative state. My body is going to start to clean out energies that I have picked up just this morning that aren't really in line with mine, right? Just watch. Right there, right? You saw my hands move, my head move, my neck, I flexed right there. And so those are all energies that I've already picked up in my house, interacting with everything here, and the food that I ate that is trying to be raised into my current body's frequency of vibration. And so you have to release it. You actually perform Kriyas every morning when you get up, and you don't know that they're Kriyas. Right? When you get up in the morning and you take your first involuntary yawn and stretch, when your body naturally does it, and it's like this, right? Or even when you yawn, when your body does that, it looks something like that, right? That's what a Kriya is. It's a transformation or a raise in energetic vibration and a release, and it has to manifest physically, right? That's what happens. So Kriyas in the beginning might seem odd, but they aren't. Don't fight it. Just let them happen naturally. And the more you become comfortable with letting those energies release from your body, you'll see that your body can take some very interesting positions. And I'll talk about that later. You can even adopt yoga positions and do mudras, but I will talk about Kriyas in another video. So far I've talked about two things that happen when you start meditating. You play the hot potato thought game, and then Kriyas occur. The next thing that happens, which is over time, is this. Because of frequent meditating, you start to pay attention to how your body naturally aligns itself to a more comfortable state. And you translate that into your unconscious awareness, that you might go to work and sit at your chair in your office and then realize that you really sit in an uncomfortable position. And then all of a sudden you become aware of what actually comfortable looks like, because you've been meditating and your body is starting to align to its more natural state. And so you adjust your posture naturally. That's a big tell of how meditating is affecting you in your day-to-day life. Simple things like that. When you start to embody those changes that you experience while meditating in your everyday life, that's another thing that can happen while you meditate. And the last thing I want to say is this. is you get a glimpse of bliss. Okay? You get a glimpse of bliss. That might not happen to everybody right away, but it eventually will happen. Okay? And what a glimpse of bliss is this. When you're playing the hot potato thought game, you go back and forth with your thoughts and focusing on your breath. There's going to be a time when you get lost in either one of them. You get lost on either focusing on your breath, or you get lost on a thought that you're thinking and just playing a game. And you go so far that you lose perception of your physical body. You just are. And when you are, that presence of, I call it bliss, which is basically space, which is basically nothingness, right? When you get that glimpse, you may not realize in the moment, but after a while in there, your ego might say, hey, wait, you're losing me. And then you wake up and you come back. And then you might think, but what the family was that? Right? What was that? That, my friends, is bliss, is who you truly are, the infinite being that you really, really are. And that's what meditation will give you. It will give you that glimpse. And if you ever realize that, if you ever experience that, oh my goodness, then the awakening process has begun for you. Really, right? And it will happen when it needs to happen for you. I say all of this and I say this. Don't go meditating looking for these. Then you're just going to be disappointed. Know that these will happen and then be open to being aware and then discerning them when they happen. So while you're meditating, if you aren't sure, share your experiences with me. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Let me know how the practice is going, right? Yes, and you know the drill as well. I'm going to remind you, my friend, that today, like every single day, is a great day to meditate. So please take the time to do it and begin to awaken to your truest self, right? Remember, I thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day.